Several days later.
Right, welcome back to my tiny garage. It's a few days later. I didn't get a chance to carry on working on the car after the lovely shakedown drive I did. Did about 31-ish miles. Yeah, the car seemed faultless. Went up to temperature, it stayed at 80 degrees. I could hear the fans coming on. Yeah, it seemed good. It's a pretty cold day, but yeah, I didn't hit it hard. Yeah, you shouldn't probably rinse the hell out of a newly built engine. But yeah, everything seemed fine. I can't comment on whether it was more powerful or not, because I didn't really hit it hard. It seemed a little torquey, low end, but it's hard to tell. It's newly built. It probably wasn't performing at its best before I built it, so I don't really know what to compare it to. But yeah, so today I've just got a quick job. I need to drain the oil and replace it with the second phase run-in, which is about 1,000 or between 1,000 and 2,000 miles on some oil just to get it to bed in, and then I'll put in the longer term sort of service oil after that. So I just need to get the car started, get it warmed up a little bit, because you don't want to. It's easier to drain warmer oil just because it's thinner and it kind of flows out easily. If you drain cold oil, a lot of it stays behind because it's just too thick and treacly. Now, ideally, I should drain the oil with the car level to get all the oil out, but I don't have that luxury. But I'm going to jack it up just as much as I need to, which won't tilt the car too much, so I should get 99% of the oil out, which should be fine. So yeah, let's start. Oh. I'm just stuck. Okay. Oh, now for the fun part. Let's see how much swarf is in this filter. Okay, what have we got? A bit of that. Looks like a bit of sealant. Oh, there's a little metal flake. Microscopic, not too bad. Oh, a little bit there. And a little bit there. Oh. It's a nice little shaving, you can see. Yeah, pretty good. It's kind of what I'd expect. Yeah. Anyway, that's good. Right. If you can see, there's definitely glitter in the bottom of that. And get a new filter in. There we go. Oh, nice and tight. Oh, make sure the exhaust is clean of oil, otherwise you get a bit of smoke. Okay, nice and clean. I can see any leaks. Yeah, good. Okay, 5W40 synthetic. Okay. It should be about 9 litres, so I'm gonna just check the level says. No, more than that. I don't know if you've been seeing what I've been doing, but I sent the engine off for a rebuild.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I took the whole thing out and sent it off to Bolton for a rebuild.
So it's all new?
Well, basically, yeah. And they also bought it out, so it's now a 3.9 litre. Okay, that's it. It's done. I don't have time to go for a drive now because my lunch break's over, but maybe this evening I'll go for a little drive.
1 week later.
Okay, it's been a week. I do actually have a day job, so I've been away this week in Paris actually, not flexing or anything. So I'm back. Obviously you saw I've done the oil change. I've since done probably about 100 more miles, just driving to rugby and out and about. But yeah, I haven't been around all week, so I'm back now, and I thought what I'll do is a bit of work on talking about the costs. So what I've got is the invoice from hartech. I'm going to try and do this without giving away my location. But what I've got is the invoice. Now, famously, hartech don't really itemize their individual components. I mean, they itemize the components, but they don't itemize the pricing on them. So what I've done is they've given me a list of parts that they've used. Obviously, they've given us a description of what they do, what they're going to do, or have done now, and then the price. This is excluding VAT. So yeah, there's the next page, some more parts. Some of them aren't very descriptive. They say gasket and seal and bolt. I can roughly work out based on the quantity what bolts they're talking about there. But yeah, so some of the things I can get more or less accurate values for, but some of them I'm kind of guessing. And I'm sure you all like to see, this is my total number here. So excluding that, it's £14,026. So let us take a look at all of the components. So what I've done is I've put them all here, and I've done a bit of work marking them up based on what I imagine they cost. So certain things, like they've got cylinder wet liner. Now for that I used some ductile iron. I think they might be Westwood ones, just from Design 911. They're obviously not a like for like. hartech manufacture their own. I don't know what their costs would be, so this is a complete guesstimate. So this is the price excluding that. Now I've marked down what the quantity numbers are based on the invoice, but also sometimes you buy them in kits. So in this case, this is a kit, cost £732, and yeah, so I've added that. Now again, hartech have had their own pistons made, so again, those are totally custom. No idea how much they might cost, but the best I can do is look at stock pistons. Now I think these are the prices for Porsche own actual pistons, and that works out to 1,308 roughly for 6. So yeah. Then we've got the timing chain kit. So they mark them as individual items, but you can buy a full kit which contains all of these tensioners and chains. And that comes to roughly £320 for the kit. So I've added that. Other things, thermostat, they add, they got big end bearings. Now I believe they use custom big end bearings. Again, I don't have a price to work with, so I've just worked with the kind of standard ones that you can buy off the shelf. Keeping in mind, I can't really compare quality. They probably have far superior quality on the parts that they provide, but I don't have the price on that, so this is it's probably a more pessimistic kind of estimate. Yeah, main bearings, there's the oil filter. Now they say things like parts kit. I don't know what that is, but they don't list a gasket set, because you get an individual gasket for a part here and a part there, which they do list. There were some gaskets I requested. They're on the bottom here, and I've got prices for them, and I've added them. But I don't know. So when they say parts kit, I kind of assumed it's the full gasket set, the head gasket set, and that works out to be £399. Then they just say seal. I kind of thought, well, they need a crank pulley seal. There's another seal somewhere. I figured it's, and there's two of those. I guesstimated that they would be there's like plastic plugs that go on the cam covers. Could be those. Yeah, then they say things like 2 washers. I don't know if they're just washers that might have been a bit rusty and they replaced them, or broken, I don't know. There were 2 of them. Are they 20p washers or are they £10 washers? I don't really know, so I've left them blank. Same with bolt. I got 2 bolts, 1 plate. No idea what the plate is. Is it the baffle? I don't know if they've done work inside. They didn't really describe the intricacies of the work they did inside the engine. They got 6 supporting ring lowers. I don't know what those are. There's 6 of them. I expect they probably cost something more than a £5 each. I don't know. I can put the number in. Again, it's a guess. But, oh yes, they've got 14 bolts. I took a look. The crankcase needs 14 bolts, so it's safe to assume those are the crankcase bolts. I've added a price for those, again, from Design 911. Then 12 bolts, also again just bolts. You need 12 for the head. It's got to make sense that those are those. Then they have a custom intermediate shaft, literally the full intermediate shaft. Now I don't know if they buy one off the shelf or if they have a custom one. I believe, from what I've heard, they use one from a later model which allows you to put a bigger bearing in, so you end up having a longer lasting bearing. So I assume it's that. So all I could go on was a standard intermediate shaft from Design 911, and that comes to 1028, so I've added that. This probably costs more, I'm not sure. Some assembly lube, that's easy to find the price or. Then again, this IMS oil divert flange, that is again something they've custom made. It's that triangular plug that goes on the back of the IMS shaft. It's the one you always see in the pictures with the 3 kind of locking pins. They've custom made one with a little oil galley diverter. I think they called it a diverter. It's like a little it's hard to describe. I might find a picture for it, but it helps just make the oil flow around the bearing, just to give the bearing the best chance of getting some actual oil. They pop the seals off the bearing, so the bearings now become wet bearings as opposed to sealed bearings. And this basically just fixes the IMS issue. So my IMS bearing, they didn't say anything about the bearing being in a failure state, so I assume the bearing was probably fine. I think in the history the bearing was replaced not long ago, a couple of years, so it probably was fine. But this will just make it last and give me the peace of mind. Yeah, some oil pressure relief springs. I think I found the valve and spring. And then a new sun plug, those you can get for 18 quid, not too bad. So this is sort of a conservative guess as to what all of the parts cost, the parts alone. And yeah, that comes to 4,891, excluding that. So basically, that is nearly a third of the costs of this whole engine rebuild. So if we're talking value for money, look, hartech are not ripping people off here. They don't quote how many man hours they spent on this, but they were very transparent and very attentive. You know, I was chatting to Lee all the time on Facebook. If I'm honest, I was probably keeping him away from working, asking loads of questions. And basically, he was sending me pictures about the progress and what was happening and what they found when they pulled it apart, and his thoughts on what had happened. It definitely dropped something into the cylinder. Those, you know, the damage to the piston wasn't, you know, magic. So yeah, they were quite attentive, but the hours spent stripping, obviously painstakingly rebuilding, and the machinery that they had to use to cut the cylinders out and put them all in, you know, those are hours and hours of highly skilled work. So I can't really put a price on that. I mean, you can't say 50 hours at minimum wage, because it doesn't cost them minimum wage. You know, their workers have been there for, I don't know how Lee's been, I think Lee's been there for 30 years. That's a lot of experience, and you pay for that experience. So yeah, I guess the point I'm making is it's expensive. It's a lot of money. Physically, it is a lot of money to leave your account for a car that, I mean, I think I paid about 14,000 for that car. And my invoice for just repairing this engine ex-VAT was 14,000. I mean, the total including that was 16,800. Now, that is a lot of money. It's more than the car's worth, really. So, was it expensive? Yes. But what do you get for that? You get back what is essentially a brand new engine. Brand new. There's little extras that I noticed that they didn't put in here, because all around the engine, it's obviously got little bolts, the cam covers on the sides. Those all got brand new bolts. They're bright and shiny bolts. There should probably be 30 at least, and I don't see them listed here. So I don't know if that was part of the parts kit. I don't know, but there's a lot of extra value for money that you get here. So yeah, I think the bottom line is, value for money you definitely get from this. There's nothing cheap here, if you know what I mean. So yes, it's expensive, but nothing is done cheaply. It's done well, and you get back more than you pay for, if that makes sense. But you can't argue with the fact that it's a lot of skilled work, and it's a big thing. It's a big engine rebuild. If this was a 2020 Ferrari and they quoted you 15,000 to rebuild the engine, you'd say, yeah, that's nothing, because that car's worth £100,000 or whatever. You know, it's a small value compared to the price of the car, the worth of the car. So in my mind, I'm thinking, my initial thought was a bit of stress, like, oh my goodness, I'm spending more than the car's worth fixing it. But if you look at it another way, physically, the work done on the engine was probably quite a good value for money. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to sign off on that one, but I will keep you all updated on the progress. There are still some small jobs I want to do. I've got the bonnet struts to still do, that's quick. Yeah, I think that's it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Now I think I've moved on from the engine rebuild to bits and bobs and repair and maintenance. So, cool.